Hey guys, this is Mugen Lord here, and today I want to talk about Nintendo and their potential upcoming next generation console, which many people were speculating that it may release sometime in 2024, which seems logical. Now, the thing is, for I guess you could say 2 weeks now, Gamescom had pretty much came and went, and now we have journalists coming out that confirmed that in fact Nintendo had essentially had a secret meeting with developers to show off the hardware of what the next generation of Nintendo console can potentially do, and you'd be quite surprised at what was said and what was shown off by Nintendo in terms of what it can do when it comes to raw power. So before we dive into this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. So we're going to dive right into it. Now, when it comes to the Nintendo Switch has been dominating, and they have been in this weird position for the simple fact is that when Nintendo had announced the Wii U just went off on a rocky start, and they haven't really picked up any momentum at all, and especially the Wii U gamepad had pretty much held the console back. But overall, I love the Nintendo Wii U, and I'll make a different video about why I love the Wii U and how it's felt like the Dreamcast of Nintendo consoles. But I digress. And ever since that happened, Nintendo had to come up with something really fast, which was the Nintendo Switch. And the Nintendo Switch was pretty much released mid-generation during the PS4 and the Xbox One. So by the time they released the Nintendo Switch, we had Sony and Microsoft already prepping and starting to hint and tease that they will be revealing their next generation consoles, which is our current generation of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and Series S. And ever since that happened, many people were wondering, okay, Nintendo are now behind the curve once again. What are they going to do about it? What are their answers to this? And Nintendo Switch, even though they've been dominating, the hardware is essentially, and let's admit it, pretty much dated at this point. And people are starting to see it with a lot of their releases of current games and see that the Nintendo Switch is essentially struggling. And I've always felt this way, especially when it comes to Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Even though that's a great game, love the game. But could you imagine if Monolith Soft had better hardware to be able to create more expansive worlds and better visuals and better frame rate if they had the hardware to do so? Even when it comes to Tears of the Kingdom, which I've finally started to play, despite the capabilities and the things that you're able to do with the limited hardware of Nintendo Switch, you can only imagine what Tears of the Kingdom could essentially would have been if it was on better hardware. So now we fast forward to right now, where Gamescom has essentially just pretty much came and went, and news articles and from journalists have reported that Nintendo have pretty much brought developers behind closed doors to show off the latest technology. Now, this is nothing new. This has been done in the past, especially me growing up in the 90s, where the game developers or first-party studios such as Nintendo and even Sega at the time have done this in the past, where they have these secret meetings where developers come and actually see what the next generation of hardware can potentially do to pretty much gain interest and start passing out development kits and everything for developers to start pretty much essentially creating games for the hardware. So I wanted to go through this article to pretty much break down and show off or talk about what they have seen or what they have heard that the developers have seen during this secret meeting. So what we're going to do is we can go to Express journalist site, where they said the Nintendo Switch 2 specs, Nintendo's new console, is more powerful than what we actually think it is. So Nintendo's new console is more powerful than you think. It looks like the Nintendo Switch 2, which could be unveiled as early as the week, will be able to match the power of the Xbox Series S. Now, this is pretty interesting. So, new details have emerged about Nintendo's next console, with rumors that the Nintendo Switch 2 will have a 2024 release date. Information has started to leak thick and fast. Indeed, after Nintendo showcased the device during a behind closed doors event at Gamescom, the latest report shed some light on the console's specifications. specifically how it compares to the PS5, Xbox Series X, and Series S. Now, this is where I'm interested in, because more people was wondering, okay, Nintendo's always behind. They're always lagging behind in terms of raw power. And I've always had this issue too, is when it comes to especially multi-plat games. And it's Nintendo have always delivered the, I guess you would say, the handicap version of most multi-plat games. And I don't want that. I want to be able to go to the store and be able to say, hey, you know what? I want the Nintendo's version of this game because it's on par or close to what the current generations of their competitor, which is Microsoft and Sony, are capable of outputting. And I wanted to be able to get the Nintendo version of it and be able to play that and be able to say, hey, like, I don't have to worry about loss in frame rate, resolution, and all that stuff. But I digress. So according to the editor of Brazilian site Universal Nintendo, the new console will launch with an impressive 12 gigabyte of RAM. While it's less than the 16 gigabyte of RAM used in the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, it's more than the 10 gigabyte of RAM found in the Xbox Series S. In addition to a souped-up version of Breath of the Wild, Nintendo allegedly demonstrated the power of Nintendo Switch 2 by running The Matrix Awakens on the device. Now, if you guys don't know the Matrix Awakens, it's pretty much a tech demo showing off the Unreal Engine 5 and what it's capable of. And they essentially had revealed this during the Xbox Series X presentation at the time. We were getting to know more about that console, and it showed, you know, about the ray tracing and all the other things that it was capable of doing. 4K, you know, 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second. This thing was doing showing all kinds of things as far as raw power, and that the Xbox Series X was capable of actually running this tech demo. So they're pretty much saying here that this next generation Nintendo console is essentially able to run this. So to continue off with this, the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the Matrix Awakens demo, which originally released to show off the Unreal Engine 5, is said to have been running on DLSS 3.1 instead of DLSS 3.5 on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. It's also believed that the Nintendo Switch 2 will support ray tracing technology for superior lighting and shadows. So that's another interesting thing as well. So even though that this console is a tad bit behind the Xbox Series X and the PS5, we still have a nice, I guess you could say, in the middle or middle ground when it comes to this console. So that's the thing when it comes to having a powerful console, because the thing was with the Nintendo Switch was getting a shit ton of third-party support, which Nintendo was lacking in previous generations. And the reason why Nintendo Switch is also successful is not because of this hybrid console and everything, but it's also they have more third-party support than they ever had in a very, very long time. And what I was afraid of is once we get deeper in this current generation, the Nintendo Switch will be lagging behind, meaning that they won't be able to get many of these third-party titles that's found on the Xbox Series X and also the PS5, is because these games are getting more and more taxing, and you know, when it comes to the raw power to be able to run these games, and Nintendo Switch wouldn't be able to do that. But if they put out a new console soon enough, or right away, or whatever, to be able to still be able to, even though that they may not be on par with that console, but just close enough, they'll be able to still get those third-party titles. So to continue on, so according to the previous report by Chinese site Money DJ, a company called Hongzhong is manufacturing metal cases for a Nintendo Switch successor. The console will reportedly cost $399 at launch, which is $100 more than the price of the original Switch when it was released in 2017. God damn, is that long ago? And the Nintendo Switch 2 will also have a LCD display instead of a superior OLED screen. The decision to use LCD is to cut costs, that's obvious. Finally, Microsoft documents speculation that the Nintendo Switch 2 will release in 2024. Now, I know some of you probably saying, why would Microsoft speculate or, speculate that as well? Well, if you guys don't know, and this is the end of the article here, if you guys don't know, during the whole Activision Blizzard case that was going on with the acquisition, what happened was Microsoft had to put out a lot of information about what their competitors were pretty much up to and what they were doing. Especially, they put a lot of Sony's dirty laundry out there, or their top secret weapons out there, to let the audience, let the court know that, hey, this is what they're doing, and this is the reason why we're doing this acquisition, so we'll be able to compete. But Microsoft have also revealed that, Nintendo is working on something. They speculated that, yes, this next console will release next year in 2024. Now, this also would make sense that they would know something like this. Is also for the simple fact that Nintendo and Microsoft does have a relationship with one another as far as them come to their games, especially more specifically like Minecraft. So the thing is, if the only person who would know something like this or have an inkling of this information would have to be Microsoft. For the fact is, if they are working on a up-to-date version of Minecraft or whatever other Microsoft games that they plan to have released on a Nintendo console, then they would definitely be in the know or have an idea of what Nintendo may be up to as far as next generation hardware is concerned. So that would make sense. Now, what are my thoughts on this potential next generation console of Nintendo? Now, right here, they're saying that it's a Nintendo Switch 2. We really don't know because they haven't shown the hardware. They just shown the technology of what the console can do itself. So we really don't know if it's a Nintendo Switch 2. And I always said this, when it comes to Nintendo love to throw curveballs, and they always love to try something different each generation. So all I'm saying is, temper your expectations when it comes to the next generation of Nintendo. There could be a possibility that the next console may not be a Switch. It could just be a traditional console, and the Nintendo Switch, like I said before, that maybe the Nintendo Switch could be left as just a handheld device that will get incremental upgrades, like eventually get a Pro version and so forth and so on, that would pretty much be able to play some of the games that the next Nintendo hardware could possibly do. We just don't know. But then some articles are saying that no, they actually are working on LCD screens for this, so it could possibly be a Switch 2. But like I said, keep your expectations low, because Nintendo know how to trick people when it comes to this type of information that's being spread around. So in terms of raw power, the fact is that it's more powerful than the Xbox Series S, and we already know. We already heard the problems that the Xbox Series S have given developers, especially when it came to the whole Baldur's Gate 3 situation, for the fact is that it was holding them back from being able to put certain features in the games because the hardware couldn't handle it. So the fact is that this potential Nintendo Switch 2 is much more powerful than the Xbox Series S. That's a sigh of relief right there, that hey, at least it's above that and it's close enough to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, which means third-party support and development of third-party games and multi-plat games shouldn't be an issue at all for this next generation of console. Now, the thing that really does have me surprised is the fact is that this will pretty much be $399, which essentially $400, which really had me really surprised is for the simple fact is that if this console happens to be able to run this Unreal Engine 5, have some signs of ray tracing and all this other stuff, and be almost on par with the current gen consoles, and the fact is that it's going to still be a hybrid console, Switch 2 and everything, I'm surprised he was able to get this price where it's at. Like, whatever magic that Nintendo is doing, kudos to them. And the fact is that many people wanted the OLED. I thought the OLED would be cool for this hardware, but LCD is just fine. I just want to play some damn games. And in fact, if you guys don't know, I hardly ever play my Nintendo Switch handheld mode anyway. I really don't. I really don't play it handheld. I just don't like how the Joy-Cons feel. The Joy-Cons feel like I can break them. They feel like cheap plastic, like a cheap toy, which I really hate about the Joy-Cons. So most of the time, and plus I'm not really a handheld guy anyway, most of the time I always have it docked and I play on my television screen anyway. So the LCD screen wouldn't bother me too much. And if I do play it handheld, I never use the Joy-Cons at all. Instead, I also use a component that actually attaches to the Pro Controller that allows me to use the dock mode, or not dock mode, use the handheld screen portable mode and have it connected to my Pro Controller. So I use that, and I also did a video on the unboxing of the product. So if you're interested, I'll leave the link in the description below. Maybe that's something that you would want to use for your Nintendo Switch, and you know, and when you play it in handheld mode and want to use your Pro Controller as the controller instead of the Joy-Cons. So I'll definitely leave that there if you're interested. You can go check that video out. But as far as this is concerned, this sounds like good news to me. And every journalist outlet has been covering this, have confirmed that yes, this meeting did happen. So this is much more solid evidence that Nintendo is cooking something, rather than the other rumors like the Nintendo Focus that has been going around for its code name and everything like that, that no one's able to really verify on. So this is good to hear. 2024, I'm definitely looking forward to see what Nintendo has in store for us. So maybe we can speculate pretty soon that Nintendo may announce pretty soon that, hey, we're going to have like a presentation to reveal the next console. I think that'll be pretty cool. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But that pretty much wraps up this video. I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment sections below. What do you think about this potential Nintendo Switch 2? Is this something that you're looking forward to? Is this something that needed to be done? Having a handheld console, a hybrid console that's clearly nearly near as far as raw power to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Do you think Nintendo's going down the right path as far as that's concerned? So I definitely want to hear your thoughts. If you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. This is Mugen Lord signing off. I'll see you Game Fiends later. Peace out.